listeners, a very good evening to all of you. And like every day, I'm back and I'm live with you sharp at 5 o'clock. And just like as you all know, that every day we have been coming up with a distinguished, established personality in their different walks of life. And we are really honored to have Padmashrees on board with us, to the ambassadors and fashion designers, jewelry designers, educationists, chefs, fitness and diet experts, to you just name it. And we have had everybody as a guest on madhisluxury.co. And today let's welcome Mr. Wanchoo on madhisluxury.co. Luxury meets Senior Executive Vice President and General Manager, the Imperial. Hi, good evening, Mr. Wanchoo.
Hi, good evening, Madhvi, and good evening to everyone.
A warm welcome to you on madhisluxury.co. And as you all know, everybody here, that Mr. Wanchoo is one of the stalwarts of the hospitality industry and has extensive spanning over 4 decades with other luxury hotel chains like the Oberoi Hotels and ITC Hotels experience. So today, Mr. Wanchoo, we would love to know your inspiring motivational journey and story about your education, about your qualifications, as well as your professional life, how you made it so big. And from the beginning, it would be really nice to know that.
Firstly, I don't think I really made it big, but yes, I've been fortunate to get my breaks as I've been there in the industry for about a little 40 years. To tell you about my earlier days, my childhood, my father worked in the government, in the Ministry of Labor and Atomic Energy. And we lived in a very nice colony called Pandara Road, behind the famous Pandara Road market. And that's where I was born. And we lived there for 26 years. And fortunately, it was so central that, wherever you went, it wasn't too far in those days when we had no, cars and scooters and cycles. We used to go on bus. So my father was very particular that all the children study in good schools. And he himself was from Hindu college. And just to tell you quickly, my dad was a very big sportsman in his time, and I think I'm a sportsman probably half of what his capability was. He was an ice skater and an ice hockey player in Shimla in the 1940s.
Wonderful. It used to be hot sport in those days.
Yeah,
Not very many used to be in that sport.
Shimla was the summer capital, and they started a club there, and they started adding more Indians and Britishers there. So he was also a badminton champion, and he and his younger brother beat the national champions at that time in badminton. So I was another champion only in my college, in badminton, but really, he was way ahead. He was way ahead. So he was very particular about studies. So he got my elder brother, who's about 6 years elder to me. He got admitted to St. Columbus School, and my sister and my younger sister were in CJM, Convent of Jesus and Mary, next to each other. I also got admission into St. Columbus, and he told me that all I did was I went there, met the principal, he said, "Chalo, join." It was so easy in those days, So schooling was in St. Columbus right throughout, and those were some fantastic, golden years. Those days we can never get them back, when there were no mobiles and no telephones and no televisions, and so it was all about cycling and badminton and cricket. That was all life. It was certainly
more on the outdoor.
Yeah.
More on the outdoor than how the things are now.
Right, absolutely. So it was very, very interesting, and we used to find our friends. Whenever we needed to find them, it wasn't difficult because we always had plans. So schooling, and then, our exams were over in December. We were in IST, that's not the higher secondary, it was the senior Cambridge. So, 6-month break, that was a great thing we were looking forward, after 11th standard. Colleges would open in March, April, whenever. We had about 5-6 months break. So, at that time, the movie Bobby was released. Everybody knows Rishi Kapoor and Dimple Kapadia. I was driving on a bike called the Bobby bike, which became very famous. Our generation will remember that. So that bike is costed sum of 3,500 rupees in those days. So I told my dad, look, I'm going to work hard. Give me a summer job, winter job. I will save 3,500 bucks and buy a bike.
Wow.
I couldn't get a winter job. I saved 1,000 bucks to maybe buy a cycle in those days. So that was a dream. And talking about Rishi Kapoor, I'll talk about him a little later when I became very good friends with him in my current tenure. So, but I couldn't get this, winter job. I couldn't save any money. And then one day, I was playing carom board with my friends, and my father came says, Vijay, we have to meet somebody. So I said, meet who? He said, come. I'm going to get you to meet a person whose son works in a hotel.
Okay.
So Delhi had Ashoka Hotel and Oberoi Hotel, the two top hotels at Delhi, and Imperial was already there much before that. And I never dreamt of Imperial or the hotel industry at all. I was more into, cricket. Like I said, I really wanted to play cricket at a big level. And I'll tell you a little more about that later, how much of cricket I have played at the Imperial and the other hotels I have joined. So he took me to this friend house, and I didn't know what we were going for. So we went, and my uncle there, my father's friend said, look, Vijay, my son is an apprentice steward with the ITDC hotels, and we are looking at join that program. Now this is, mind you, just after school. All of 17 years old, very naive, didn't know what the industry is all about, no idea about hotels at all, no interest. I wanted to join the army also, but you know how destiny is, you never get to get everything that you want, so I couldn't join the army. My uncle was an army officer, I looked up to him, but I couldn't join the army. But it's all about your own life, what you get, you take. And you plan a lot of things, but they may not happen like that.
Right.
So I joined ITDC and as an apprentice steward at the age of 17. When I was sent to the Ashoka Hotel, it's a big, city there. It's a 650-room hotel.
Yeah. And my property. One of the
Right. So I went to the uniform room, and they said, here is your waiter's uniform. I said, what? Waiter's uniform? I thought apprentice looking. So I said, no, I'm not going to wear this waiter's uniform. The guy at the, I shouldn't be saying this, he liked my face, he gave me the supervisor's uniform. And I got the supervisor's uniform. Imagine knowing nothing in the industry, I'm wearing a tie and a jacket and a coat and a proper suit. Yellow, I remember still, very bright yellow color, coat. And I went to the room service, and that was where my, kind of experience, but not a very great experience started. I'll tell you why I say that, because the room service manager came to me, he says...
it was more the on-the-job training. It kind of started more on-the-job training.
Absolutely, but it was a cultural shock coming from St. Columbus School. Am I going to be a waiter? There's a comment that there's a little disturbance from your side. I think when you talk na Madhvi, it's getting cut a bit in the middle. I lost your video.
So I just refreshed it again so that there's no disturbance. I hope it's much better now.
Now I can hear you clearly. I will wait for anybody to. So, I carried this tray of coffee and hot chocolate on my hand, and I walked and stepped, and the whole hot chocolate fell on top of me. I lost balance.
God.
I said, okay. What is this nonsense? I mean, I can't do this, really, I'm sorry. Then 2-3 incidents happened in that. I must tell you, I was sitting in the room service cabin, and a friend of mine came running. He says, Jaldi chal, I've got an order for Shatrughan Sinha. So I said, what? We picked up the food, trolley and all. Both of us went to serve Shatrughan Sinha. And I remember room number 709. I still remember that room number. And we served him food. He had a nice lunch, and he was shotgun. In those days, Shatrughan Sinha was
known as shotgun.
I'm talking about the year 1976.
Right.
And he gave us a 10 rupee tip, crisp 10 rupee note. I still remember. and wow, that an autograph and all that. So that happened. I said, wow, this is great. You meet stars. Little was I to know that 30, 40 years I'll be, becoming good friends with many stars, and I'll talk about that. So,
Lovely.
so came down. One day I was doing a 7 to 4 shift, because that was my shift. And 4 o'clock I was about to go home. And suddenly the banquet manager came to me and he says, Vijay, report to the banquet hall at 6:30 in the evening. I said, what? I'm going home. No, you have to come and work in the banquet hall. We do that today.
Okay.
We pick up our morning shift and put them in the banquet in the evening to serve. So what my job was to carry 2 jugs in my hand, soda and water. So an old steward was telling me, and I was supposed to just ask the guest soda and water. So the whole evening I was doing soda and water. And what I see in the party is a batchmate of mine from St. Columbus who used to share the bench with me, attending the party. I said, my God, अगर इसने मेरे को देख लिया, so I am dead. I ran away, I left the jug and ran away. Literally, I ran away for half an hour, came back, looked around, he had gone by that time. So I was back in the hall. But then I said, no, yeah, this is really not my line. I cannot do this. So such experiences were there in the first 2 months of my training. So I came back to my dad. I said, look, let's think of something else. It's not what I want to do. He says, look, I see this. That's what I give all credit to my father. He says, look, beta, I see some potential in you. Let us go to the hotel management college and try and get admission there. So in those days, there was no national entrance exam. In our time, I'm talking about 76 when I joined. I lost your video, Bharti.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You're being focused so people can see you and hear you. When you're speaking, so the focus goes on you. It's okay.
All right. So I went to Pusa 76 and I gave the interview. I was very scared and underconfident at that time. But fortunately, I got admission into Pusa, and I joined the 3-year hotel management. Now here the interesting thing is, coming from a boys' school, we were in a co-ed college, and that was a difficult situation initially. And share the bench with the girls, and slowly we got good. But the 3 years were a lot of fun. I enjoyed my 3 years in college. We used to occasionally bunk and see a movie at Rachana Cinema for 60 paisa was the ticket, I remember. And the best part, we had a DTC bus pass. I don't know if people know that. 12 rupees 50 paisa, all route bus pass. As many times a day you could use that. And use that as a, to move around wherever we wanted. And of course, we used to take lifts and all, go to Chanakya and, had great fun. But our college was a good 8-hour college, by the way. So morning theory and afternoon was practical. And my favorite subjects were restaurant service and bakery, in the kitchen. Little did I know that I'm going to become a chef at some stage. So we'll come to that. So during my 3 years of hotel management, I was an average student. In school, I got a first division, all right, which was a big thing for me and my dad, because dad didn't expect me to get a first division. In college, I did my usual thing. I was not great at theory. I love practical stuff, more hands-on. Housekeeping was a very weak subject for me, honestly. So it was more of F&B service, kitchen, bakery and stuff like that was my...
More passionate about that.
Very passionate about that part. And of course in college, a lot of cricket, inter-college, inter-batch cricket and all that. And badminton, I won the doubles champion in badminton in college with my partner, Sanjeev Suri. And so we had a great, and today also after 40 years, I'm in touch with about 60 of our batchmates who are on a group.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
So it's a great, today the technology really helps you to connect. Like we are now number of people. So after college, honestly speaking, I didn't have a job for 4 months. I had a job in Moria Sheraton as a steward again. Okay. Now imagine after 3 year hotel management, back to Moria 1979 as a steward, I said, no, I'll wait. Now, again, you have a gut feel about something. I had in college applied for management training with the Oberoi hotels, like everybody wanted to be a management training. I couldn't get it. Only one boy from my batch got in as a management trainee. I was sitting at home one day when I got a call from the Oberoi headquarters. One girl called Rashmi called me, and Rashmi said, Vijay, she called me by my pet name because I didn't know she was my cousin. I said, Rashmi, what are you doing in Maidens? She says, I saw your application here, and I said, who's this Vijay Wanchoo? My name and her father's name was same. I was named after her dad. So Vijay Wanchoo, she went to her boss. Her boss happened to be a guru of mine today. His name is Rakesh Mathur. A lot of people in the industry would know him. So Rakesh Mathur called me and said, Vijay, look, I couldn't get you management training, but if you come over to the Maidens right now, I'll get you to meet Mr. Oberoi, Mr. Oberoi. If you meet him, you're lucky, you might get through. I've got one seat away. Would you imagine I waited for 5 hours, no lunch, nothing, waited for 5 hours, Madhuri. Vicky had to fly to Oberoi. I couldn't meet him. That was the sad part. So Rakesh Mathur came to me and said, Vijay, here is an offer. I can give you kitchen training program, which is the second level. It's not a management training program. I called my dad. He says, well, I don't know what a chef is, so you take a call. So I said yes. And I joined the 2-year hotel kitchen training program at the Oberoi hotels.
That's destiny.
Yeah.
That's truly like a destiny.
I really feel that there's a question here, who motivated me. My dad, of course, motivated me, I just mentioned, because he was the one who motivated me for everything, for cricket and badminton.
A lot of people are saying hi, hello everyone, and they're saying, Sushma is saying, Mr. Wanchoo, I know him personally. He's a very grounded and down-to-earth person and a very social person.
Sushma, I know him well. Hi Sushma, nice to see you. Hi Sunita. Corrected, my name is Wanchoo, Vijay Wanchoo, Sunita. I think she may have got the spelling wrong. Okay, so I joined the kitchen training at the Oberoi Hotel for the 2-year program.
And by the way, recently also I've seen some of your videos in the lockdown, making some exotic dishes. So you really have a passion for, I think, cooking and as a chef.
Yes, I still feel, once you're a chef, you're always a chef. And I did the 2 years kitchen training, but tough times, let me tell you. We were sent to Bombay for helping in some emergency there, and we used to work 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. That's behind us, you have any hotelier who starts thinking he's going to do 9 hours and go home is mistaken. So you always end up doing 14 hours, 16 hours, 24, 36 hours. There were times when
it's a lot of hard work. I think it is a lot of demanding and pretty hard work in the hospitality industry. It may look very glamorous, but then behind the scenes, there's a lot of hard work behind it.
Absolutely. So anyway, those 2 years, how we managed, and I used to really struggle at times because you would hardly sleep, and get back to work. But good fun. And by the end of 2 years, before the 2 years got over, I got a call from one of the personnel offices that there's an opportunity to work at the Oberoi School of Hotel Management as an instructor.
Okay.
But I also got an option to go to Khajuraho as a chef de partie there, a demi-chef de partie. But I left it to destiny again. I was very happy-go-lucky. I said, okay, if I'll go to Khajuraho, I'll go there. But God's grace, I got Oberoi School as an instructor. So I became an assistant F&B instructor at the Oberoi School of Hotel Management, which was shifted from Maidens to the Oberoi, Delhi. And those 3.5 years, Madhuri, were fantastic because, to teach, I have to learn more. So for every class, I used to prepare for 6 hours, 5 hours. I mean, a theory class for 1 hour meant preparation for 5 hours because who was I teaching? I was teaching those trainees who were my batch, almost a batch junior only, who would pull my leg on the cricket ground, and here I am the instructor. So in the class I said, sir, you please call me sir. So that's how the 3.5 years were fantastic. I enjoyed my stint. Incidentally, Those 3.5 years were a 9 to 5:30 job with Saturday half day, which is not a great thing for a hotelier.
Right.
So I wanted to get out of it. I was not going to be a trainer for life. So I went, and Mr. Vicky Oberoi, and I'm very proud to say, recognized me from when we had a group meeting with him. And by the way, I met Rai Bahadur Oberoi in 1982 in the farm when he used to call all the trainees. So I was there. And I met Rai Bahadur, and I remember that you have some pictures somewhere. But Mr. Vicky Oberoi saw my potential. And he sent me to Westminster College in London for 1 month kitchen training program, a special training program for 1 month for European cuisine. And 1 month at that time in 84, I'm talking 83, 84, yeah, I'm talking 84. Experience in London was fantastic. We had only 350 pounds with us in our pocket. That was our moral travel scheme. They called it FTS. They gave us that money. So 3 weeks later, I ran short of money. And I called my brother in the US. I said, "Hi, I need money. I don't have money." He said, "It's a Sunday. What can you do?" So you go to a place called Worcester Gardens and pick up some money from my friend. So I went and picked up 20 pounds or so. I got extra, for the remaining week or so. But that is great. Came back, and Mr. Oberoi called me and said, "Vijay, I see you, as a food and beverage manager one day. You're in the kitchen, but you're very smart. I can see you as a food and beverage manager." Now again, look at the forecasting of that man, the thinking of that man. I became a food and beverage manager, unfortunately not at the Oberoi, but later at another hotel. But interestingly, after I finished my training, this 3.5 years at the Oberoi school, I was literally told that you are going to Oberoi Srinagar for 6 months as the chef, second in command there. I said, "What? Oberoi Srinagar? I can't go to Srinagar." He says, "Vicky said that you are a Kashmiri. I said, "I don't even speak the language, unfortunately. Uh, some of us in Delhi do not speak the language because we've never lived in Kashmir. Even my grandfather moved out of Kashmir in 1918. So, my dad was born in Delhi, so we call Delhi Walas actually. So I said, "Okay, doesn't matter. You want me to go to Srinagar, but I need a promotion which was due for me." Mr. Oberoi said, "I'll look into it, but go to Srinagar." So here I landed there in March. 6 months we were there, and it was tough to, pass those 6 months. There was a lot of work. There I started my little more, meeting stars and getting that feel of glamour. And I remember Dilip Kumar was playing a bit of golf in the gardens, and he called me. He said, "Chef, hame kya khilaoge aaj?" So I said, "Aap kya khayenge? What can you do?" I said, "I'll do a lovely roast chicken for you." He said, "Oh, lovely." So I did a lovely roast chicken for him, and he enjoyed it. Then I met a few stars. Rajesh Khanna was there, and Ratni just got married, so she was on a honeymoon there. So, it was good fun to see stars, but really the industry is no glamour for the people who are working. If you are working, uh, you know, you're really behind the scenes or more running around doing things. And it's only at a later stage when you grow in career, sort of you link with them better, like I did in recent years. So that was that. I did my 6 months, and in between July, I came to Delhi, and I was, I had come for 2 weeks to attend another special program where I met my, to-be wife, and we got engaged in the month of, I think, July. And that was destiny again. I came to Delhi and got engaged, which was not the plan. And came back in October, and then I got married in November. And so, 85 was when I got married. And my wife, who used to work in Moria at one time, and I must tell you a word here that, it's easy to say she's worked in the industry, so she knows what kind of life it is. But believe me, when you go through it, it's not easy. And she's been a huge pillar of support for me, because I think your wife has to be understanding, yet you have to support her. And there were times when I would not take off for 2 to 3 months. I'm talking after Oberoi when I left. Sorry, quickly I'll come back to when I came back from Srinagar. I was at the Oberoi Delhi for 1.5 to 2 years. I became a sous chef. That promotion I was looking for, and Mr. Oberoi remembered. There's a question here: what is the favorite dish? I love Kashmiri food. absolutely. Without, I'm a total vegetarian by the way. I must put in a bit of information. So I can cook non-veg, but I'm complete vegetarian. I turned a vegetarian.
And I'm sure you do believe that there is good variety of options even in vegetarian, and there is good vegetarian food as well. It's not just the non-vegetarian food.
It's how creative you can be. So, so I came back to, over Delhi and worked in the coffee shop there as a chef. And then there was this hotel called, uh, the company was called Bharat Hotels. Today it's called the Lalit in Barakhamba. And I got a call there, and they were looking for an executive sous chef. You know, that's the next level. But here, the twist of my career, very interestingly, I went for the interview and met the personal manager, and then I met the man who I really looked up to. Also, I've got three or four, heroes in the industry, and Rakesh Mathur was the first one who gave me the break. I always tell him, I'm writing a book and I'm mentioning these people there. Mr. Pancholi was, Shashi Pancholi was the son of Dasuk Pancholi, who was a film director in Hollywood, in Bollywood.
Okay.
And Shashi Pancholi was a flamboyant man. I've never seen a man with that panache and that class about himself. Tall and good-looking gentleman. God bless his soul. He looked at me and said, Vijay, why don't you kind of look at some options of coming to F&B? I said, I've not thought about it, but I don't want to get stuck as a restaurant manager. So he said, what are you saying? I said, give me assistant F&B, I'll think about it. So I played my cards like that, and he had the foresight, and he gave me assistant F&B. By the way, when I left Oberoi in 1987, my salary as a sous chef was 2,900 rupees. And I joined assistant F&B manager at the Bharat Hotels for 4,500 rupees, which is a huge jump. So in those days. And I used to drive a car, and in 1 month my petrol bill was 1,000 rupees. That was those days, So next 7.5 years, by coming back to the tough time at home, because my daughter was born in 1987, I had a daughter, and the younger daughter was born in 1989. And those first 5-6 years of the hotel was terrible. I mean, terrible in the sense that we were never at home. We were there, from 8:30 in the morning till 3 in the morning next day. Go home for 5 hours, come back fresh, because I'm talking about 40 years ago. Naturally, 35 years back. I was raring to go. Today also, if I have to do 48 hours of duty, I can do it. It's not a problem. So I did this first 7.5 years, and Mr. Pancholi gave me that break, and I became F&B manager at the hotel there at Holiday. It was called the Holiday Inn in those times. And I became F&B manager, and in '94 I won the National Award for Food and Beverage Manager of the Year. So best F&B manager I won. And that was tough. That was tough because, the company was called H&FS, and I really had to go through a huge, interviews and all those kind of presentations. So I won that award. That was my first award. And the other award was '94. My son was born, so three things happened. I've got 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. And my wife has been, really the pillar of my home and my career. She has been fantastic in everything. She's born with, I used to not go for weddings, family events. I used to miss them out because I couldn't leave the hotel, or I'd go for 1 hour and come back. That kind of tough times. And
so very understanding and cooperative wife, I'm sure. And that's why it is said that behind every successful man stands a woman. Because they sacrifice and they've given a lot to the family.
Yeah. So, she would definitely, give all the support that I needed. And believe me, there were no phones at that time. Like, let me tell you, there were no mobile. We used to have pagers, right? So I remember still at a time she would be tired the whole day looking after the kids who were so small. And one day I kept on, ringing the bell, and 2:30 in the morning, winter, no answer. What do I do? So I went down. I'm on the first floor. I picked stones and hit the window. And then she sort of got up, what is this happening? And I remember such incidents. And then one day suddenly she said, "Chalo, jaldi aa jao, 3:30 we have to go and stand in line 3:30 in the morning. We have to go and stand in line for the girls' admission. I said, what are you talking? She said, your kid is 4 years old. She has to go to school. So those 4 years passed, and my God, I said, wow. We were standing in line at 4 o'clock in the morning, winter in CJM, outside Golda Khana for 3 hours, just line. So then my younger daughter, she got admission into CJM. Later, my son in '99 got admission into Columbus. So it was like a great, family school for us, both the schools. Yeah. So holiday in here, I would love to tell you about Mr. Lalit Suri and Mrs. Jyotsna Suri. He was a great man. I mean, very difficult to work initially. He was very tough, but then he had to open the hotel, and he put in a lot of his own money. And Mrs. Suri was his support, and she, of course, runs that company today. And I'd come back to Lalit Suri, Mr. Suri later in my career. So I have a funny distinction of working in two big organizations twice. So I'll come to that part. After, I must tell you this very interesting quick time. We have time, right? We have some time? We have. Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So in '95 January, I did something, which all hoteliers try and do, and you make mistakes in life, right? So I tried to venture on my own. I left the industry and I ventured on my own, started some restaurant chain, and I became a consultant. I did some cooking on television. I got an opportunity with my dear friend Nafisa Ali, and Nafisa is a great friend today. And we did a cooking program on CTV in those days for 6 months, and then Sanjeev Kapoor started. Now, Sanjeev is a great good friend, and he's done so well today. He's got definitely the right. Yeah, I did not really take it seriously, but I know I could have made it to some. But that's why I fulfill all my dreams by doing this little cooking stuff on Facebook, which you might. So,
still you never know. Still you never know. There is still a scope for it. So we never know. We see you with a celebrity chef. You already are, and at that level, never know.
I love to do that. If I'm planning to do something, but right now I just do it off and on very casually. So I did for 1.5 years. I was on my own, Madhvi. Like I said, I became a catering contractor at a South Delhi club. Can you imagine? Standing in the kitchen, chicken tikka and chicken tikka makhani and all that stuff for the members, and I would hear a lot of things from them. Oh, chicken tikka kacha hai, ye wo hai. So I used to hate that. I said, but it's my job. I used to make some money there. All this happened, and 1.5 years went by. But believe me, you have to, when you're on your own, you have to strive to earn your money. There were three months when I didn't have a single penny I earned. Then there were 3 months when I earned a couple of lakhs. So, it sort of balances out. So I was sitting, doing this catering job and consultancy job, and I get a call from the Imperial Hotel in '96. I'm talking about. And the Imperial was going through a big turnaround in '95, 94, 95. They started. Today, what you see was a real big turnaround by the promoters, the owners of the Imperial Hotel, and I will tell you a lot about that because I spent 14 years plus with the Imperial Hotel. For me, that's
it's a good long time.
Right. So when I got an offer that the Imperial, it was for a salary of about 40,000, which is okay in those days. I had to literally fight for a car as a perk, which I got finally. That was a starting Maruti 800 was a perk, which was fantastic. And but they were offering F&B manager. I said no, I'm not interested in food service manager. I'm interested in moving in my career. So I got the job of EAM, that's Executive Assistant Manager. So EAM is like in command. But my main focus was to be on F&B. I said, great, I will do that besides other areas. So Madhvi, my romance with the Imperial started. And my romance, the spice route started. You all heard of spice route.
Right,
now, yeah. When I entered the restaurant venue, there were nothing but a floor and 4 walls. That was it. So I was given a brief. Restaurant will all be all about. I had never opened a Thai restaurant in my career. So much so I didn't know what Thai food was. And somebody asked about food, my favorite after Kashmiri is Thai food.
Okay.
So I was told to Rajiv Sethi, is the man who designed the spice route, very famous artist. But all this, inspiration came from the owners. The guidance came from the owners of the Imperial. They put in good amount of money, but they also put in money with class. It's not just throwing money in, right? So they got the best of material, the best of equipment. In fact, I even flew to Thailand number of times to pick up crockery, cutlery, glassware, uniforms, taste of food. We even bring chefs from there. So I can write a book only on my experience for the spice
Yeah,
food.
so trying to get the best from Thailand, the cutlery, crockery, everything possible.
Everything was from there because it had to be the flavor and the feel of Thai restaurant. We even got some waitresses from there, but they kind of lasted for 6 months. They didn't last for too long because the culture in Thailand is very different. You can't shout at girls over there. In India, you get a shout every minute, but you can't shout at girls over there. It's very very touchy. You can very politely tell them, look, it's not right. Somehow they couldn't, get used. Anyway, so then opened Patiala पे again Daniel's Tavern, these restaurants opened, and the coffee shop, the old coffee shop called the Garden Party. So my experience at the Imperial in '96 to '99 was really tremendous. I mean, it was a great, learning for me also. And so '99 December, I would say this that I got a job as a general manager with a group of Taj Group of hotels. Now this was not in Delhi. It was a big challenge for me. I had to move up in career, right? I got a general manager position in a place called Ernakulam. Now to get to Ernakulam, my train was 48 hours.
My
There were no
God.
flights. You could travel by flight easily those days. I'm talking about '99. So I got this job. My wife said, okay, kids are small. My son was just born. She said, no, it's a position you're getting, I'll manage you go. See, that's where my
Support.
supported. But this is destiny. I mean, I was working with Taj. I didn't go there because a few months later, I got a call from ITC. My papers were lying, my resumes were lying with them, and here Mr. Viri Parmar, a famous hotelier again, he called me. He says, Vijay, I'll get you to meet, the top board. If you get through, you're lucky you might join ITC. So I went for my interview, met the people there, and I was selected as. But the grade was the same what I was getting in Taj. It was not general manager, it was manager. So I said, fine, I'm willing to take it as long as I'm in Delhi. As long as I'm in Delhi, because I've been in Delhi fortunately. Otherwise, most all my career, that's been my destiny, and I've been happy that I have been. So I joined ITC. I was the first GM of the hotel called Sheraton in Saket, just behind PVR, next to PVR. That was called the Marriott in those days. Marriott Welcome. I opened that hotel in 2000, and from there I went 2.5, 3 years I worked there. Then I was sent to Fortune Park Hotels as general manager operations. Now, from got the GM operations position. So I had become GM by the time I joined as manager, but I became GM at the Marriott, and they promoted me. And then I became GM operations. I was looking after the Fortune hotels. There were about 8 hotels at that time, and then I worked for about 4 years with them. But that was very interesting time of my career because I traveled a lot of places in India. I mean, because you have to open hotels all over the country, and the best thing is you travel with other people's money, and you see the places. So I've been even from Kathmandu, Sikkim to Darjeeling, to Calcutta and Jamshedpur, and then down to Bay Island, Andamans, Kerala, Trivandrum, Calicut, Chennai, of course, and Tirupati. So I've been very lucky to visit the holy shrines of Hindus. I went to Tirupati. I've visited Tirupati 7 times. Every time I've been to Tirupati, So then I've been to, let's go where, and then you move to Vapi, in the west, Gujarat, Vapi, Ahmedabad, Whereas Indore, I've been to Indore. I went to Mahakaleshwar temple there in Jain, and so even Pashupati Nathji in Kathmandu. So I'm very thankful that my destiny took me around, and I traveled a lot. So that was Fortune Hotels. Today they have got 50 hotels or so, which has grown. Now in the month of July, I think I got an opportunity here. I had applied for a foreign training with ITC, and they selected me as one of the managers to go to Cornell University in Ithaca in USA to do the general managers program.
Okay.
So I went to do the GM's program along with my colleague, and there were 7 of us from India. Great to see 7 people from India. Girish Bindra, I remember, GM of Korea, he was there. So we did our 2-week program. From there, I went to New York, traveled, did a bit of study there, hotels, went to see my brother in Florida, and came back. And this was in August. I came back. But life has its way of giving you opportunities. I got a chance to work back with the Bharat Hotels. This time I joined them as Vice President Development. See, Bharat Hotels was coming to a turnaround. They were increasing their number of hotels. And let me tell you, in 1995 when I left Lalit Suri, he told me, Vijay, why are you going? I'll have 10 hotels in the next 5 years. And I couldn't believe him. I said, what are you talking? Today they've got 14 hotels. So Mrs. Suri picked me up, Josna Suri, she was the one who gave me that break again as a Vice President Development. So heading all those 7 new hotels which are coming up in India. And one was in Thailand, one was in Dubai. So 7 hotels, I headed those hotels, and ultimately I took over the entire chain as Senior Vice President Operations. So I looked after the 7 operating hotels as well as the 7 hotels of the Greenfield, as we call them. In the year 2009, so 2006 to 9, 2.5, 3 years. In 2009, I got a call from the Imperial, one of my ex-colleagues who used to work here, who was earlier my GM Finance in the Imperial itself, and also at the Bharat Hotels, he was a finance head. So he called me and he says, they are looking for a general manager, would you like to come? Now, I'll be honest with you, my first thing was no, because I'm running 14 hotels, why should I go to one hotel? But then I got a second call and we are deciding, if you're not, then we'll take somebody, but think about it. So I thought about it, and I believe in astrology to an extent, to a great extent rather. So I consulted my Guruji, I'll be honest here. He says, you're mad. He said, you're mad, you're leaving Imperial Hotel? I said, look, I'm running 14 hotels. He says, are you crazy? Imperial is worth 20 hotels. As a property, it's valued in terms of overall, positioning and everything. So I came back and I met the owners, and they selected me as the senior vice president to join the Imperial. The position is senior vice president and general manager, but the role is obviously to run the property. So 2009 July was the time when I joined the Imperial. And just imagine, it's been 11 years, Madhvi, and I never thought that I'm going to spend such a long time. So if you total 11 years and you look at the 3.5 years, over 14 years, I feel it was a great decision to join. Yes.
Gogia is saying that must have been a huge decision, but definitely for the good.
Yes, definitely. And I believe that you get pushed into it. You will find the right opportunity, and in every step movement of mine, I have got the right break, except one decision which I took in 1995, which was not probably, but it was also a learning, I would say.
Right.
So
unless you make mistakes, you don't learn also. So that's also important. Failure is as much as important as success.
You must make mistakes. You must make mistakes for yourself to improve. And let me come back to this tenure of the Imperial. I've really been fortunate, I would say, and had the confidence of the owners. That's why I'm, spent 11 years. I don't know how long Destiny will be here. Definitely, I think it is definitely a great hotel to work for. Fantastic people, the owners are very nice. And it is a product today to match, the best. And imagine a standalone hotel, competing with top brands in the country is not easy. You got to get your own business. You don't have head offices all over the world and all over the country. All these all chains.
I would like to ask you a question on this. Actually, I would like to ask you a question on this. So I want to know that what takes to be positioned as a luxury hotel. How are you different from other luxury hotels for Imperial?
See, let me tell you, we are a good product. A hotel has to be good in terms of furnishings and the kind of amenities that you provide, etc. However, let me tell you, a hotel is not a hotel if you don't have the right people to work for. So I don't think luxury is just by giving a Mercedes-Benz pickup, right?
Yeah.
I think it's all about the experience that you provide to a guest. And the Imperial is so beautifully laid out in terms of, the green areas and the walkways and the gardens that, if you simply sit on a bench near the spa, which is underground spa, but outside there's beautiful palm trees, you just feel you are in luxury. You're in the lap of luxury. And I believe that the Imperial exceeds any other property in the country. Of course, there might be other palaces and all in, which have large lawns, but 7.5 acres of land within the center of Delhi is a big asset. And it's not easy to fill it up. Yeah, I mean, it's a big challenge to get in business because, like I said, we are a standalone. And but I'll tell you what, we are not overdone on the technology bit, by the way. I'll give you an example. In the lobby, you'll never find a TV screen giving you the functions of the day. In most of them, you find a TV screen, right? I put the TV out of my lobby. I've got a beautiful brass thing with it. We do put a little nice on a kind of nice paper, little printout about what's happening. And then, talking about the winters, Justine just mentioned, we have a lovely.
Amazing, especially the luncheons and more. True.
Absolutely, the garden is a wonderful asset that we have. 2 acres of garden alone, where of course in winter we have to do events. We do weddings there. I'll be honest with you, we do weddings, but very carefully. We don't go overboard. We don't allow music after 10 o'clock. So we have certain restrictions. Thanks, Varuna. Yes,
nothing matches up to the Imperial.
Sorry?
Somebody's writing nothing matches up to the Imperial.
Varuna, good friend. She does
services and of the hotel. The services and the food column.
Yes,
so also, I want to ask you, Mr. Wanchoo, that one is a physical aspect of luxury, other is a luxury in service standards of the hotel. So how do you create luxury in service?
By providing, very, very top-end service, but in a very subtle manner. Because I don't think service should be in the face. So we have, believe me, and that comes from one strength comes in from the people who have worked here for 20, 30, 40 years. I've got housekeeping boys who work for 30 years.
Okay.
They know every guest by name. They know every, desire of the guest. They know what the guest wants. They know what kind of pillow they use. So they remember all that. We got about, that's where I feel the connect, the personalization that our staff gives.
Right.
Of course, we have some new young kids on the block who are very good. Believe me, I really learn a lot from this young generation with the mobile. They're very good in what they do. They're very swift and pick up and quick in learning. But what these old guys they do, they will do magic for you. I've got a guy, I'll tell you, at my coffee shop called Joseph, who's my omelette man, who makes 100 omelettes in a day. But you come one day, I want an omelette without cheese, but I want tomato and onion, and he'll remember that yesterday, sir, you came, did you want the same omelette? So, that's a connect.
Right.
That's a connect I have fantastic, which I have done in this hotel. and I'm proud to say I've done it. I've given that India experience to my foreign guests. I've got 90% foreign guests, 90% foreign. Now, it's very easy to give them everything which is European style. The building is an Art Deco, but do you give them that experience of Indian culture? We were not doing that, yes. There were a lot of celebrations. I have introduced 7 events in the year. I wish I would love to share these at some stage. Starting with January 26th, we have our own March past within the hotel. Then we go into Holi. We go into Lodi. Holi, I make my foreign guests play Holi with white kurtas. We give them organic color. They no water and flowers and they freak out because they've never played Holi in their life. And 40, 50, 60 people come. We have Lodi. Then we have our own team members stand there and dance to the Punjabi songs and the guitar and everything and do the bonfire. We just did 15th August again. I've done 12th, 15th August parades here in the hotel.
Nice.
But incidentally, this year was nothing but a simple flag hoisting with all our masks and all that. But every year we do something. We get one of our associates to do a nice cultural dance. Last year we did Bharatanatyam. One of my girls did. Also for the foreigners, this is fantastic. Then we go to Holi, Lodi. Sorry. We move on to Diwali. Diwali, we used to do crackers and all, which we stopped 2 years back. We only do lights and we do a mela, kind of Diwali mela. Then we do Dandiya, Dashera. Okay, we have our own staff, girls and boys who do Dandiya dance, and we make sure the guests dance with us. And then we, of course, come Christmas, because Christmas is very much an Indian festival today. So we do Christmas buggy ride. We are the only hotel to get an open air car, jeep, and take Santa Claus in the city. Please go to Facebook and type. You will probably find some excerpts over there about how we go around 2 to 3 hours in the city with my. Yes, Sushma, you're right. You came here on Diwali. We did a rangoli, and our foreigners sit down and make rangoli there, on the floor. So this is the element. What you asked me, how do you differentiate that? Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the audience, I would like to say that you have organized various programs for guests and associates in your current innings and have taken the hotel to new heights, creating transformation at each stage. And your thoughtful implementation of ideas has brought in strange change while creating a memorable experience for the guests. And you strongly believe in experiential luxury and says it is all about creating a home away from home. From introducing Namaskar, the Imperial Culinary Club, to celebration of all major festivals with guests, his personalized initiatives have created unforgettable memories for many to come back. And all ideas of Mr. Wanchoo have been extremely popular amidst global travelers at the Imperial and have elevated the Imperial experience. So this is what I wanted the audience to know from my side, Mr. Wanchoo.
Thank you so much. You just mentioned about that word home, right? Now, whenever I come to the port, my front office, my security staff, the Darbans are, basically, they tell the guests, welcome home to the Imperial. So, and believe me, a lot of people have put it on TripAdvisor. They said, oh, we went there and the Darban said, welcome home, which is a great, way of welcoming a guest. So we like to give that homely experience to our guest and get him back home anytime, we want to tell. And I introduced Namaskar, which is our Indian way of welcoming. And today Namaskar is becoming more
all the more popular, and that's the way to go now.
Initially, people felt, why is this Namaskar? It's all. I said, look, it's an Indian culture. And the foreigners love it. Foreigners love it. Okay, I must tell you that during my tenure at the Imperial, I've managed to be good friends with a lot of actors. Akshay Kumar and John Abraham. These are good friends. Anupam Kher, like elder brother. They all call me when they're coming. They said, okay, we're coming, book our room. So it's a good connect with them. Rishi Kapoor, sadly today, I miss him today. I couldn't take a single picture with him during his visits here because we were very close. Neetu saying, she's in touch with me. But it was so sad, he was here a month before or 2 months before he passed away.
Right, yeah.
He stayed with us for 3 weeks on a shoot, and he was perfectly all right. And the scene was, he had to go back. Yeah, scene is not great in Corona, Jasleen, at the moment. But they are going to bounce back. So my Imperial tenure has been fantastic. I think the best hotel uh, that I have experienced in my career, and I owe a lot to this hotel. I owe a lot to this organization, and it's 86 years old today. The hotel. So another 40 years into 100 years, I hope to be around somewhere and come and visit this hotel at that time. So that was very, yeah.
Yeah. I would like to ask you, Mr. Wanchoo, that earlier in 1995, you took up an offer to be part of a health program called Fat or Fit on ELTV as a celebrity chef. So, if you can tell something about this.
I mentioned about
Nafisa Ali. Nafisa Ali and you. Right, we got it.
Later moved to ZTV. So Nafisa and me did this. She was the hostess and I would do the cooking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I did. Yeah.
And of course, we want to know more about Imperial.
Imperial is
all celebrated. I've done a fashion event, a fashion show with the designer there. Then we have been very regular on our anniversaries. It comes on 25th December. So every time we used to have a brunch show there, Christmas brunch.
This year you come, if all goes well, we have Imperial brunch at the gardens. We are lucky to have. And we'll celebrate your anniversary.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So I think there is no hotel like the Imperial. I've seen Raffles, I've seen the Ritz in Paris. I've stayed at the Ritz in London, myself. I wouldn't compare that hotel. They're great hotels, no doubt. Dorchester, I've been to the Dorchester, I didn't stay there. So I've seen the best hotels in the world thanks to the Imperial itself. I've traveled to the Oriental in Bangkok, to the Sukhot High. I've stayed in some of the top hotels thanks to my career, and I've been lucky to, I would say that. And one has learned a lot when you travel. You learn a lot from,
Absolutely. Yeah, the exposure you get.
Yeah, so I've introduced a lot of ideas. Some are ideas I've seen somewhere else. Some are ideas of my own, and that's all about experiential hospitality. I mean, it's not about just giving a nice food or just giving an excellent car to pick up. It's all about people and how you present yourself. And so, during my career, I must tell you, this is Imperial has been, for me, the hotel which has given me a lot of, name, I would say, a lot of personal satisfaction. Yes, I've been, fortunate to meet a lot of good people who supported, and a lot of our foreign guests who come in, they just call me, hey, Mr. Wanchoo, we're coming, book our room. That kind of connect I have with all of these.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that we have a lot of people coming for generations, 2 generations coming and staying with us.
Wow.
This lady from London, she was here in India. Her grandfather was an army officer, British India army officer. She was 14 or 10 years old when she came to India, and she still keeps coming back. Her name is Aline Dobby, a big supporter of Imperial, and so she tells me stories of Imperial. So that's the Imperial, I mean, kind of have it's this hotel is something, Marty. I mean, I can, I'm like I said, I'm writing a book, and probably 2 big chapters will be on the Imperial. And
would love to read it when it's published. Would love to read the book. And also, I want to ask you, Mr. Wanchoo, how do you think hotels will come out of the recession due to pandemic?
It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult. I don't think foreign travel, guests will start coming too much at the moment. There will be time, maybe a year or so before the foreign. You might get small percentage, but see, firstly, guests will come to India, and how many of them will come to 5-star hotels? If they come to India right now, they have to go through 14-day quarantine.
True.
How would you do that? I was supposed to go to US. I couldn't go because some reasons, and they had to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. So it's going to be very tough. Let me tell you.
So,
So there's
so then, I mean, like, as you said, the 90% of your, people who come and stay at the Imperial are from international abroad. So are you going to see and change something and get more of the domestic, people to come and experience the hotel in a different way or something? Are you going to look into that?
naturally, the domestic travel and the business will be really, really important. See, right now, we are talking on, on a screen sitting far away from each other. People are doing Zoom calls, Zoom meetings for 100 people, and you're doing conferences, so you're saving all the travel and, conference costs. And
Right.
that's a big challenge for the hotel industry, especially for
Yeah,
MICE.
because it's going to impact the business for sure.
The MICE segment, the meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibitions, that's going to be a big hit. Weddings, because you can only take 50 people at one time.
Right, right.
And that's how, it's going to be very tough. But yes, we'll bounce back. We'll definitely bounce back. See, the cake is only that big, for our segment of five-star deluxe hotels in Delhi, the top 10 hotels, let's say. Cake is only that big. Everybody's got to take a slice of it. So how quick you are in grabbing the business, and the rate war will become very critical. The rates will become very important. That'll play a big role. So that's
Right.
going to be a tough call.
Yeah, for some time at least, it's going to be the new normal, and then everybody is going to bounce back to the normal, from the new normal. I hope so. And I would like to go for a rapid fire round with you, Mr. Wanchu. So, according to you, is it like smart work or hard work?
Smart work.
Okay, great. And Mr. Wanchu, as a chef or a restaurant owner or a hotelier, a GM or a sports person?
Hotelier.
Hotelier, great. And one of your favorite one-liner?
I think it's very important, which I keep telling my people. You will never get a second opportunity to give a first good impression.
True.
Meaning that
Very well.
opportunity comes, you do it, otherwise you lose it, you will never get the second opportunity to impress
Right.
anyone.
True. Good one. And advice to the youngsters who want to get into hospitality industry?
To understand what hotels are all about, because today I have spent 40 years in, let's say, 6 organizations, because twice I worked in 2 organizations. So that was 6.5 years per organization. Today people want to jump every year, 2 years, because they get the little extra money. And when I interview people in front office, fresher who's come, ask him, what do you want to be in 5 years? Oh, I'll be a front office manager. Or in 10 years, I'll be a general manager. It's not that easy, because you want to learn. There is every day something new to learn. Even today, I say I learn a lot. I have to learn something new. My son is a hotelier too. He's at ITC Hotels, and he's been there for 8 years now. And Touchwood, he's doing well. And but so you got to work hard. You got to put a lot of effort in whatever you're doing. You got to forget your watch. You got to forget that you're wearing a watch, literally, and spend your own time in the areas after your work and try and learn. That's very, very important.
Very good advice, I must say. And what's your idea of a good meal?
Idea for me, it's simplicity. I like simple meals. I don't believe in fusion cooking, by the way. I think fusion is a whole lot of confusion. The food has to be very simple, good. People eat with their eyes first. If you note that what I'm saying, people eat with their eyes. And it should be good looking. It should look nice to the eyes, colors, textures, presentation. And then comes the taste. So food should be simple, the ingredients should be fresh, and the balance of ingredients, like the oil and the masala, whatever you're using, the butter and the cream should balance. Very, very important. And I really love, like I said, simple Kashmiri food. But yes, Kashmiri food is a bit fattening, a lot of oil, a lot of fat, so you got to look after your weight.
Yeah, so that makes me come to the next question. What is one fitness tip you swear by?
Fitness tip?
That you swear by, yeah.
Well, I'm not a gym person, uh, so uh, definitely it's more of open air stuff. So off late I have started doing a lot of cycling. I don't do too much. I think 8 to 10 kilometers a day. That's the kind of time you have in the morning. So I've started cycling, and I think for me now today, this is important what I do. So I pick up my cycle, go along to beautiful, some green areas, and that's what I feel I should do. But yes, today, whatever age I am, let me tell you, I'm dying to get onto the cricket ground and play some cricket. And I must tell you, on cricket, I must tell you, in the last 11 years at the Imperial, we've played 11 cricket inter-hotel cricket tournaments. We have won 2 cups, 2 winners we were, and 3 runners-up, so 5 cups. And I'm the captain of my team generally. I'm handing over the captaincy to others. But today I can bowl. If I have to bowl, I'm an off spinner, by the way. And I've been selected as best bowler of the series twice. So
Wonderful.
that's my mantra. I want to play badminton. I want to play cricket. And the other passion I have is, I haven't told you, is billiards and snooker. I won one gold medal and 2 silver medals in billiards and snooker. And that's my game I got from my side. My uncles in Delhi were champions of cricket, and I could never see them play because I was too young. And they would never take me, they would never even reach the table. So my desire to learn billiards was, I was able to accomplish that and overcome that desire in Simla in 1977. When I went for training, the Oberoi Cecil and a friend of mine, I still remember Manuel Fernandez, took me there and he taught me how to play billiards. In half an hour, I picked up the game. Today, every Sunday, everybody knows in the house, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I am playing billiards every Sunday. I don't leave that game. So it's a game where you can really exercise because you're walking around the table. It's a big table.
Right, yeah.
So fitness, I think that's where it kind of,
yeah.
It's
pretty much a sports person at heart, I feel.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, my father was a big sportsman. He played for the state team for Himachal team that time, and he was selected to play against the Olympic team, hockey team, in a practice match. So, I mean, more I say about him is less. He was a champion figure skater, ice skater in his time. And once he told me he was a cricket wicket keeper, which I didn't believe. I thought, at least I play cricket. He didn't, but he played cricket also. And he was a badminton champion, like I said. So we are a family of sportsmen. My brother is a very good sportsman, badminton, cricket, swimmer. He's a very good swimmer, TT player. So, we have sports in our blood. I think sports is... I don't hold anything against anybody if you're not a cricketer. I just say that you must have some sport in this thing. Just at least somebody is a boxer, somebody is a lake swimmer, somebody is a basketball player. Sports is important in life.
Imagine a healthy mind, as it said, a healthy mind resides in a healthy body. So I think that's really...
Yeah, imagine I'm playing cricket on the ground and on the other end the batsman is a security person or a chef or a steward, or I'm bowling, to somebody, and the fielder is a guy who's part of my hotel team and he takes a catch. It's a great bonding. There's nothing like that.
As it said, play sports with a sportsmanship spirit. And what next for you, Mr. Wanchoo?
What next? I want to continue in this industry as long as I can. And maybe at time, whenever I retire, I'll do my own consultancy and I will, open my own training. I want to do a lot of counseling to people. I know I can communicate, I can speak, I've been doing sessions with colleges, I can go and speak on customer experiences and creating wow for a customer. So I'd like to definitely venture into that.
Great. And as you know, Mr. Wanchoo, the program is about madhvisluxury.co. I would like to know the definition of luxury according to you.
Well, like I said earlier, luxury is not about just being, giving the best product. It's about an overall experience. Luxury also is a lack of a negative experience. Because the moment you're living in a suite in a room and your tap starts leaking, that's a bad experience. So luxury is all about, of course, giving a good product to the guest, but giving that excellent, right, timely service and the care that a guest wants without having any opportunity of a complaint. Because one thing I've learned is that no general manager in the world can say there's never been a complaint in my hotel. Right?
Right.
But then that becomes a big challenge and that becomes negative experience in the guest's mind. And so I have created certain procedures within the hotel that take care of this. If there is an experience which a guest has had, how it is rectified, how it is further closed, the loop is closed. Of course, luxury means a good product. Luxury also means, the right surroundings in a great product. The air conditioning should be perfect and the music should be at the right volume and there should be no noise coming from other tables. Remember when the mobile started and we used to put a signage outside, mobiles not allowed in the restaurant. Today it's become a sad situation that everybody is sitting on the mobile and talking away. So that's something which really, takes that luxury feel away. But definitely it's all about experiential hospitality.
True. Beautiful. Wonderful. And what would be your message to the audience on COVID-19?
Well, it's your mind. It's of course it's there. Let's face it. But I've seen a lot of people who are so scared. Just take your precautions, right? Whatever they say, wash your hands 150 times a day, whatever. Use sanitizer. Use your mask. Stay away 2 feet, 6 feet away from people. It's there to stay. We have to live with this. We have to go around this and don't go into crowded places unnecessarily. And take these precautions. We're going to get through this. And definitely it's going to be there for some time. And let's hope we can get out of this soon.
True, absolutely. And I know that you're fond of singing. You like as your hobbies, acting, singing, and all this. A lot of people have been telling me you're a golfer, you're a pet lover. So, is there anything that you like to sing for the audience?
I can't sing. I can just hum a bit. I just try to sing. I'll be honest with you. I never knew, and I even sang on one of my staff functions. And one of my
commented actually. I think somebody has commented. Somebody has commented also.
Sushma Rao.
Yeah.
So I can try, but I don't know how it's going to sound.
It will be really nice.
I was just listening to a video on a WhatsApp one day, and I loved this song, so I created a video for my hotel based on this song, which I sang. And it's I just 2 lines of it. It's a Kishore Kumar song. कहाँ तक ये मन को अंधेरे चलेंगे, उदासी भरे दिन कभी तो ढलेंगे. कहाँ तक ये मन को अंधेरे चलेंगे, उदासी भरे दिन कभी तो ढलेंगे. कभी सुख कभी दुख, यही जिंदगी है. ये पतझड़ का मौसम घड़ी दो घड़ी है. ये पतझड़ का मौसम घड़ी दो घड़ी है. That's it.
Beautiful, beautiful, and so apt for these days, especially at this time. It's so apt, and we're just waiting for the things to get just normal soon. And
I like the words, so
absolutely.
I don't know how
it's been a great, it's been really honor and such a humble and modest introduction by you, and so inspiring, motivational journey that you told all of us. Very interesting. From college to your professional life to your personal life and your job experience, it's been great. And for the audience, I would like to tell Mr. Vijay Wanchoo feels that an interesting phase of his career has just begun, and he hopes to add further value to hospitality in India and contribute towards betterment and growth in these challenging times, which is a wonderful thing. And we're looking forward for much more from you. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a real pleasure and honor.
Thank you, Madhvi, and thank you to all the people for bearing and listening to us. And I'm available. Madhvi can share my contacts if anybody has any queries. My email is there with you, Madhvi. So I'll be happy to answer questions whenever if somebody does ask.
Surely. Thank you. Have a great
Thank you so much. It's wonderful being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 So it's been a great, interesting session. And as you all know, that if there are any queries related to any of the sectors, as you know, I consult on real estate, art, hospitality, destination weddings in Italy, fashion designers, jewelry designers, any queries, you can get in touch with madhvisluxury.co. I happen to be the brand ambassador with Sari Sanskriti by Salma Sultan ji and Aisha Khanna, international fashion designer, Nora USA. I happen to be the brand ambassador for her as well. And you can get in touch with me for event queries related to finance, chartered accountants, lawyers. We are all there to help you and guide you and assist you. So please feel free. Thank you so much for watching and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.